A day to remember for the...
If you just want to let me know, or one of the staff members there, when everybody's in the room and we're ready, we'll go ahead and get rolling.
Make sure your phone's on silent, please. Put your mesh on silent. That's a wildcat right there. That's a little.
Right there.
Yeah, he's a wildcat.
What?
He depends on.
He what?
He said he depends.
Oh, yeah.
You got a partner up there with you?
Yeah, hey, George. I have to go. This is my bodyguard. I knew him before he knew himself.
Yeah.
Is looking like everybody's pretty much in there, ready to go. Hey, Mr. Little, if you just want to give me a thumbs up when you think everybody's in and seated, I'll go ahead and get rolling.
You might have to interpret something. See that hard.
I mean,
Okay. All right.
He said when we're gonna let me know when we got by everybody in.
Okay. But how many more you expect?
Cool. You know how many people we're expecting? Store. Coach Harris, do you know how many more students we are expecting, sir? Ready?
A day to remember for the rest of your lives.
There's a great promise for all of you.
The Pro Football Hall of Fame and Extreme Networks present the Heart of a Hall of Famer program. With nearly 100 Hall of Famers participating, we have reached 48 states around this country, sharing the message that football is more than a game and can teach Americans how to huddle up during a time when we need to be united.
It's time for America to take a real deep dive. Not at no one else, but at yourself individually. If you want to change America, don't brush your teeth with your head down. Look at who you are and be the example. Be the example.
an opportunity to meet and learn from one of the greatest football players of all time. But more than that, the chance to see that their Hall of Fame life wasn't given to them. Single-parent homes, drug-infested neighborhoods, and poverty.
I grew up in a neighborhood that was considered one of the worst in America, and the household I grew up in was one of the worst in that neighborhood. By the time I was 20 years old, I knew at least 30 friends or family members who had lost their lives. Football became like a second parent to me. It taught me the things that my father wasn't there to teach me, and that my mother, as a struggling, single-parent woman, just didn't know to teach me.
But they learn how to live a life of character before pursuing their football careers. Today, you will learn you can do the same that they once did. Making good decisions can lead to a prosperous life both on and off the field. Your game for life has already begun. It's your decision whether or not you want to be a successful student, son, daughter, brother, or sister.
Every one of you can have a Hall of Fame life, whether or not you play football. You can be as great as you want to be. The Hall of Fame is all about integrity, character, and excellence. You have the opportunity to represent yourself that way. You determine your character.
Welcome to a once-in-a-lifetime program, The Heart of a Hall of Famer.
What comes to mind today is how happy and honored I am to be a part of this elite and extraordinary group of athletes, coaches, and administrators. Football prepared me for so many things in life. How to deal with the peaks and the valleys, the bitter with the sweet, self-motivation, and believing in myself and working with others. When I first went off of football at Booker T. Washington High School in Miami, I was in the 9th grade. I was only 13 years old. I know I probably would have been voted the most unlikely to succeed. I was so bad, I didn't get equipment until the season started. But I was only a 9th grader. And I had a friend of mine named Joe Walker, who's a blind DJ in Atlanta, Georgia, that made a statement at the end of this show every week. A winner never quits, and a quitter never wins. And I took that along with me because I knew I was going to be a winner.
All right, and with that, I'd like to welcome everybody to another edition of our Heart of a Hall of Famer program. My name is Jake Ray, and I'm going to be moderating the session today, and I'm coming to you guys live from Canton, Ohio at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And today, we have the one and the only Mr. Larry Little, who is coming to everybody today from Booker T. Washington High School in Miami, Florida. And this program is especially special because, Mr. Little, this is his alma mater. He went to Booker T. Washington, grew up in the Miami area, and was a Booker T. Washington alum. So to have him back at his roots, back at his high school is always a cool thing, and we love to have you there today. So before we get started, I just want to give you some information here on the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Our mission here at the Pro Football Hall of Fame is to honor the heroes of the game, to preserve its history, to promote its values, and to celebrate excellence everywhere. And the values we promote are those of commitment, integrity, courage, respect, and excellence. And we're going to be talking about all those today and how they helped Mr. Little not only on the football field, but helped him off the field as well. And I'm excited, hopefully you guys there in Florida are as well, to see how these values have impacted Mr. Little's career on and off the field. But before we get started, I do have some thank yous I'd like to pass out. First off, I need to thank our folks at Extreme Networks for all that they do for us here at the Pro Football Hall of Fame and for schools across the country. This program today could not be possible without their involvement. Second, I'd like to thank your Miami Dolphins, and especially Ann Hake, who's there at the program today. I want to thank you guys for your help getting this program off the ground, getting it started, and your help throughout the entire process. I also like to thank our teachers and administrators for letting us come into your classroom or into your auditorium like we are there in Florida today. We believe that this message that we're going to say today is very important for today's youth, so we want to thank you for that. Lastly, and probably most importantly, I'd like to thank our students. This program would not happen today without you guys. So feel free to, you'll get a chance to ask questions today. Make sure you take advantage of this opportunity. It's not every day you get to talk to one of the best 318 football players ever to step onto the gridiron. So I want to thank you guys for coming and tuning in today. So truly one of the great players and the great men of the game. Please join me and give a round of applause for our Hall of Famer Gold Jacket, Mr. Larry Little. Mr. Little, I first want to thank you for being a part of this program today, and I'd like to turn it over to you for some opening remarks.
Good afternoon, Tornadoes. Before I get started, I used to sit in this auditorium and get bored too and nod off like I see some of you guys are doing right now. So why not let's just sit up, erect, and don't go to sleep. Thank you.
All right. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Little.
You know, we want us to talk about character. Character is not something that's given to you. Character is something that you have to develop within yourself. People will look at you a certain way if you have good character. Once you leave high school, what are you going to do? You're going to have a good character. If you go to college, you got to have good character. If you go into the workplace, you've got to have good character. And this is what high school prepares you to do, have good character. Now, I grew up Overtown. I grew up at 346 Northwest 19th Street. When I was growing up, we didn't have school buses to bring us to school. I used to walk from my house to school. On a rainy day, my parents would have to call a cab to bring us to school because my parents did not believe in letting us stay home for no reason. It was 6 of us in my household. An older brother who graduated from Booker T, myself, another sister that graduated from Booker T. And we had to walk to school, not catch we couldn't catch a bus. We didn't have book bags either. We'd have 5 or 6 books under our arm walking to school. It wasn't easy. My life wasn't easy. When I started playing football in 9th grade, I was the only 9th grader to stay on the team because other guys couldn't take it. I was called different things. I was sorry. You would never be a good football player. But I believed in myself. I believed I could do anything that I put my mind to. Once I left Booker T. Washington, I had an okay career here, not a great career playing. Once I left Booker T, I only had 2 scholarships to go to college. And I made a big decision early in my life. It's probably the only reason I'm sitting here today. One scholarship was to Bethune-Cookman College in Daytona Beach. The other was to St. Augustine College in Raleigh, North Carolina. During those days, growing up, it was segregation. We didn't have a choice to want to go to the U. Right now, a lot of white people ask me, did you go to the U? No. I couldn't go to the U growing up. What we called major colleges growing up, being a black, was going to Florida A&M, Southern University, Tennessee State, or Grambling. We could consider Florida, Florida State, UCF, FIU, but they didn't have football. FIU wasn't back then, but we didn't have that choice. I chose to go to Bethune-Cookman because it was close to home. And I knew my parents couldn't afford to bring me home on short holidays like Thanksgiving And, you know, those kind of days. The other school that offered me a scholarship was St. Augustine College in Raleigh, North Carolina. Most of my teammates were going, and good friends, were going to St. Augustine in North Carolina. The reason I said the best decision I made in my life was to go to Bethune-Cookman. Because had I gone to St. Augustine at that time, my senior year, St. Augustine dropped football. Had I gone there, who knows, I probably wouldn't have got an opportunity to play professional football. And excuse me. And once I got out of college, I was not drafted. Like you see a lot of guys making millions and millions of dollars today. When you say free agent today, that means you get a lot of money. Back then when I was a free agent, my bonus was $750. My first contract was $12,500. And I didn't make the regular squad until the fourth game of the season. And after 2 years in San Diego, I was traded to Miami, traded back home. And ironically, the guy that I was traded for was my high school teammate, a guy by the name of Mac Lamb. I came to Miami, Mac went to San Diego. In fact, when I saw Mac after I was traded, he didn't know he had been traded. So I said, hey, Mac, you know, I've just been traded to Miami. He said, oh man, we'll be teammates again, huh? I said, no, Mac, you going to San Diego and I'm coming to Miami. My first year in Miami, we were 3-10-1. I had, then in 1970, a new coach came in by the name of Don Shula. Shula's first year, we made the playoffs. The second year, we went to the Super Bowl. We were beaten by the Dallas Cowboys. The next year, we went back to the Super Bowl. And till this day, 46 years ago and counting, we are still the only undefeated team in the history of the NFL. We were 17-0. The next year, we went back to the Super Bowl again. And we beat the Minnesota Vikings. We were 15-2. We were 32-2 in 2 years as a football team for the Miami Dolphins. We only lost 2 games in 2 years. The next year, we were knocked out the playoff. But what I'm saying is, with me being the captain on that team, I made all pro, I did everything, but a lot of people didn't believe in me coming up. They didn't think I could be a good football player. I'm not gonna call his name, but one of my coaches, he wanted me to go to college, but he went to FAMU, but he didn't think I would be good enough to play at FAMU. This is another reason I went to Bethune-Cookman. In college, my college coach, I was overheard saying, well, he's a good college player, but I don't know if he'll be a good pro player or not. Well, my coach don't believe in me. But you know what? I believed in myself. I believed in myself. And I wasn't going to let anything stop me from being the best that I can be. And I'm saying that to say this to you guys. I know people are not going to believe in all of you sometimes. But if you believe in yourself, you can make it happen. You can do it. You know, my senior class motto was to be successful is to succeed. And with our efforts, we will excel. And you can do the same. To be successful is to succeed. If you believe in yourself with your effort, give your best effort, you can succeed. Okay? Now I'm going to open up some questions now.
All right, I think I'll go ahead and ask the first one. And we talked about this a little before we came on air today, but I think we just hit on what just happened here on Sunday. I think it's still a hot topic. I think, you know, as the Dolphins fans down there in Miami, you're still on that high of what happened that game. So, as a player, put yourself onto that roster on Sunday or in that game, and explain to everybody as a player what the ups and downs of a game like that feel like, and then to ultimately win the way Miami did, just what that would feel like or that felt like as a player.
Well, they call it the miracle of Miami. And I had never seen anything like that. I've seen it before when the Chargers played the Dolphins in the Orange Bowl, back in the old Orange Bowl. And they had a hook and lateral for a touchdown. But to end the game, like it happened on Sunday, I had never seen anything like that before in my life. To win a game that way. I was too kidding some people saying the Dolphins have been winning with trick plays all year. Now that trick play, that took the cake. Because whoever thought, especially beating a great team like the New England Patriots, on that last play, I normally watch TV in my bed. I don't want my wife to have the TV out front. I got up and go in the kitchen and get me something to eat. And I heard my wife screaming, "What's happening?" And this is what I saw on TV, then winning that game on this past Sunday. And that might be the game that will propel them to get into the playoffs.
All right. I think that's a great way to sum it up. And those games you can kind of see are that springboard to really set a team off and get that momentum rolling. So hopefully Miami takes that play and does that with it. So next question we're going to have is I'm going to head. Are there any students there at Booker T that have a question for Mr. Little?
Questions? Come on now. Come over here not to get any questions. No question is a bad question.
No questions there in Florida? There's one. All right.
Stand up. You might need a microphone. Did I play with Dan?
You played Dan Marino?
No, I did not play with Dan Marino. Some of the older Dolphins has a joke. We were 17-0, the team I was on. Dan was 17-0. He played 17 years and didn't win no Super Bowls. No, I was before Marino. I retired in 1980, and Dan came in 1982, 82, 83, I believe. Next question.
Someone else got a question there, Booker T?
What was it like playing for Booker T back then?
What was it like? Let me tell you. This is why Coach Harris needs to be commended with the job that he has done over here. He had Booker T. But I played from 9th grade to 12th grade. We won 10 games in 4 years. We were not a very good football team. 10 games in 4 years. My first year, I think we won 4 games my senior year. Before then, we won 2. The next year, we won 2. The next year, we won 2. My senior year, we won 4 games. But we never had a winning record. My 4 years playing football at Booker T. Not like you guys today. I mean, you guys are awesome.
All right, I have a question for you, Mr. Little. After your playing career, you were a head coach at 2 different universities, as well as coaching a professional team. How do you feel your playing career and things you went through as a player set you up to be a successful head coach in the sport of football?
Well, you know, when I got into coaching, that was the farthest thing from my mind to get into coaching. I got a phone call from the athletic director at the time at Bethune-Cookman, who coached me and one of my coaches in college. In college, I didn't have but 2 coaches. 2. One coach offense, one coach defense. He called me and said, "Larry, we need you to come to Bethune to coach." I said, "What?" I said, "Coach, I never coached before." I was living in Miami. I was athletic director over in Miami Edison. Plus, I was partnered with my former teammate Nat Moore and another guy with a skating rink on 79th Street. We opened up a skating rink called Superstars Roller Tech. And I had no coaching in my mind whatsoever. So I decided to do it and get into coaching. So I ended up coaching at Bethune for 9 years and won 2 MEAC championships, 1984 and 1988. After the 1991 season, I got a phone call where they were starting a new league called the World Football League. And I got a phone call about this team called the Ohio Glory. And I said, well, let me give it a shot. The Ohio Glory was a World League team, but I was getting paid by the NFL. And I was the first black head coach in the World Football League. The league closed down after 1 year to move all the teams to Europe. And I didn't think it wanted me to go, but I didn't want to live in Europe. So I turned the job down in Europe. So I became head coach at North Carolina Central University. And I was there 6 years before I don't want to coach anymore. I said that, I didn't want to be a coaching lifer. So I decided to stop coaching and come back home to Miami. And this is why I'm here today.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm very proud. I have young men that played for me are now head coaches in college. The head coach at Southern University, one of my former players in college. The head coach at North Carolina A&T, I gave him his first coaching job to coach with me. The head coach at Shaw University in North Carolina, he played for me. And I just got the word from another one of my players who was defensive coordinator at Southern with my other coach. He's going to become the head coach now at North Carolina Central. He texted me last night and told me that he got the job. So I'm very proud of the young men that I touched. I mean, I did something right to want them to get into coaching. And I have guys coaching all over the place, but these are the ones that are head coaching right now as we speak that played under me when I was coaching.
Sounds like that Larry Little coaching tree is getting bigger and bigger by the day.
Let's have a coaching branch.
So you talked a little bit about the state of Ohio coming back up here, and we know that football is such a huge thing, especially up here in Northeast Ohio. And when you were inducted in 1993, as every Hall of Famer does, you received 3 iconic pieces: the bronze bust, the Hager gold jacket that you're wearing today, and I think I saw that Kay Jewelers Ring of Excellence on your hand there as well. Those are 3 great iconic pieces to symbolize what being a Hall of Famer means. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send it to the Director of Youth and Education here at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Jerry Shockey, and he's inside the museum right now with kind of a special guest. So Jerry, are you there?
Well, when I started playing professional football, I had no thoughts of ever being a Hall of Famer. I had no thoughts of ever wearing this gold jacket. And when I was inducted, and there's only 3 of us still alive today. 2 of us, I'm sorry, are still alive today, that the class that I went in with. And Dan Fouts is one other person still alive. And we always kid the other Hall of Famers that we were the best class ever. The members of that class was Chuck Dole, the great head coach with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Bill Walsh, the great head coach with the San Francisco 49ers, and the great Walter Payton. The 5 of us went in the Hall of Fame together. That's why we say we were, or are still to today, the best class ever. And just being able to get up there in front of 25,000 people, seeing your family out there in the stands, a lot of guys cry when they're inducted into the Hall of Fame. I did not cry. I was happy, but I had a sister kept telling me, saying I was gonna cry, but no way I was gonna cry. I was gonna stand up there like a man, give my speech. I said, you guys gotta go make me cry today. But it was a great feeling, though, and I would never change that feeling for anything in the world.
You talk about your class there in '93 and how great it was. I got my boss, actually, Jerry Shockey, who's in the museum right now in front of that class, and he's going to talk a little bit about kind of what it means to be a Hall of Famer, how great it is, that honor, and then talk a little bit about why that bust of yours is sitting here in Canton, Ohio. So, Jerry, are you there?
Yes, I am, Jake. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, well, thank you. I want to welcome all the students to the Hall of Fame Gallery. Again, I'm Jerry Shockey. I'm the Director of Youth and Education here. And I'm joined by your special guest here, the bronze bust of Larry Little. And so just to think about this just for a second, to put things in perspective for you guys, there have been about 300 million people that have played the game of football at all levels. There have been about 5 million that have played it at the collegiate level. And there have been about 29,000 people that have been paid to play, coach, or administrate the game at the professional level. And there are only 318 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And one of those is the gentleman that you're speaking with that you have sitting in front of you here today, Gold Jacket Larry Little. A fixture at right guard during the 1970s when the Dolphins were a dominant team in pro football, Little was the embodiment of the intimidating force of the famed Miami rushing attack. A superb pass blocker, awesome on the scrimmage line, and especially effective as the lead man on the powerful Dolphins sweep, Little was named first-team All-NFL from 1971 through 1975, and again in 1977. He was also named second-team All-NFL in 1978 and All-AFC 5 times. Larry was selected to play in 5 Pro Bowls. He was named the NFL Players Association's AFC Lineman of the Year in 1970, 71, and 1972. Coach Don Shula called him a real inspiration, not just for the way he performs, but also for his influence on our younger brothers. Larry Little was also a 2-time Super Bowl champion. As you can tell, Larry Little had a career well deserving of a bust here in Canton, Ohio. Jake, back to you, buddy.
Thank you, Jerry. So Mr. Little, so far, having that gold jacket, having that bronze bust, what has been the coolest or greatest thing about being a Hall of Famer?
Wow, there's so many great things about being a Hall of Famer. You are recognized wherever you go, not only in your hometown, but in other cities across the country. And knowing, I don't wear this gold jacket all the time, but when I wear it with pride. And with my shirts, with those shirts, I wear it with pride. Because as he said, there are 318 Hall of Famers. Just think about how many guys played professional football had not gotten an opportunity to be into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So, it's just something that you're the elite of the elite. And there are a lot of great football players probably deserving to be into the Hall of Fame. But, with me, I was lucky enough to be one that was inducted into the Hall of Fame.
All right, I think we'll turn it back over there to our students at Booker T. Do you guys have some more questions for Mr. Little?
Yes, I have a question.
Let me hear you, buddy.
Was the Miami Dolphins the only team you ever played for?
Say that again.
Were the Miami Dolphins the only team that you played for?
Oh no, I started my career in San Diego. I was traded to Miami after 2 years. Remember I mentioned the fact that I was traded from my high school teammate? Yeah, I was out in San Diego for 2 years. And ironically, I was getting ready to make my home in San Diego. I love San Diego. I love the weather. And when I got the phone call, I was disappointed really to come to Miami. I didn't want to come to Miami because at that time, Miami was an expansion team. And they were like winning 2 games, winning 3 games. In San Diego, although we weren't winning championships, but we had winning teams. So I was kind of disappointed to come to Miami, but in 1917, when Shula came in, it turned all that around. And the rest is history.
All right, we'll go to another student question there in front of you.
you had a chance, would you coach for Booker T?
What was that question again?
I said, if you had a chance, would you coach for Booker T?
Would I coach at Booker T? No way. I don't want Coach Adams' job. No, I wouldn't. When I got out of coaching, I was through with coaching. And, I'm just so proud. How many football players in there right now? Stand up, let me see you. Wow. I am so proud. I am so proud of what you guys have been accomplishing over the last. Okay, you sit down. I just want to see. I am so proud of you guys. I don't get to a lot of games. I live way down south, so I don't drive at night very well. So I don't see you play much, but believe me, I'm following everything that you guys are doing. The first thing Booker T play, I pick up the newspaper the next day to see how you did. Because this is my alma mater. And I am so proud of what you guys have accomplished over the years. You have a strong alumni base, and I know your alumni people, older people that graduated from Booker T, they're proud of you, and so am I. And just keep up the good work, man. And wherever your college, wherever your endeavors may be, whether you go to college to play football or whatever, always got to be the best student you can be. Not just the best football player you can be, the best student that you can be. Okay? All right, thank you.
You mentioned there at the beginning about being going to Bethune-Cookman, but you came out into the NFL undrafted. Was being an undrafted rookie before you started your NFL career tough, and did that add any motivation for you to succeed more on the field, to see, I should have been a player that was drafted?
Oh, no doubt. When I went into the league as a free agent, I had a chip on my shoulder because I felt I could play the game. When I first went to San Diego, I've always been a newspaper reader growing up because my parents always got the paper thrown to us every morning. First thing I read in the paper, with me being a free agent, not being a drafted free agent, and I think at that time they were drafting 21 players. And out of that 21, I wasn't drafted. So I read the San Diego Union that morning, and my coach at the time, name was Sid Gilman. The guy said, well, Sid Gilman brought in 25 free agents. Maybe one of them will be around when other drafted rookies come in. Oh, I thought all the rookies were coming in at the same time. But he brought in the free agents first. I made it through that first week. I made it through the second week. I learned a lot that first week that helped me too, other than the drafted rookies. So once I got my opportunity, and I went to San Diego as a defensive lineman, because I was an All-American defensive lineman in college. And they changed because of my speed. They moved me to guard. My rookie year, I ran a 4.940 in pads. And I was weighing 275 pounds at the time. So, that's what impressed them, to keep me around and look at me a little bit more, my speed for my size. Somebody asked me, how did you get so fast being so big? I was running from the police over time, but I was only kidding. I never got in trouble with the police.
I'll say, so I got a list of things here I'm going to read off. And it's going to kind of show how successful that your career was. And like we said, definitely deserving of a bust here in Canton, Ohio. So you were inducted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1993, the Bethune-Cookman Hall of Fame in 2012, that you were inducted to the Miami Dolphins Honor Roll in 1993. In 1999, you ranked in the top 100 players of all time, and you were named to the Florida High School Association All-Century Team. So 100 years of high school football players, you were named to that team in 2007. So you could say you had a pretty good career. What do those honors mean to you?
Well, I was also the first Miami Dolphin to be inducted into the Florida Hall of Fame. I'm also in the Black College Hall of Fame. So those awards mean a lot to me. That means I accomplished my goal, trying to be the best that I could be. And I did. It wasn't given to me. Nothing never easy for me. I had to work for everything that I got. So being in those different Hall of Fames, and that means a lot to me because it wasn't given to me. I had to work for it, and I worked hard to try to be the best that I could be.
All right, I think we got time for a few more questions before we turn it over to you for some final remarks. So we'll go back to those students right there in front of you for some more questions.
Yes.
So you were one, arguably the greatest football players of all time. What did you do after all the fame and stuff? How could you go back to your normal life? And I think you said you became an athletic director. What was that like going back to just being normal?
Well, trying to find my niche when I graduated, when I retired from playing football. I'm trying to find my niche. What was there left for me to do in my life? I knew I could play football all my life. That's why one thing I was determined to get my degree when I was in college, because it was a guarantee that I would play professional football. Like I said, I was lucky. I was able to sign as a free agent. So once I retired, I had to find what I wanted to do. And this is why I worked so hard to get my degree. I was able to teach and be an athletic director at Miami Edison, and then to move on from there. And that's what I got into the coaching. If I didn't have my degree, I couldn't have coached in college. And I was determined. I graduated in 4 years. So, I was determined to get my degree. And I was only the second person in my family to get a degree in college. So now since then, all my sisters have degrees, but I was only the second one to get a college degree.
That's a great question. So I think, like I said, we kind of gotta wrap up here kind of sooner because we got some other things going on here in Canton, Ohio. But I think I want to turn it over to you one last time, Mr. Little. Is there anything you want these students to leave with today, or if there was one piece of information you could tell a high school kid right now, or maybe you when you were in high school, what kind of would that piece of info be?
Let me say this. A lot of times there are going to be doubters. There are going to be people who tell you that you are not good enough to do something. Never let that deter you from trying to fulfill your dream. Believe me, if you think you can do it, you can do it. You just have to apply yourself. You have to say to yourself, I'm not going to let anybody tell me what I'm not good enough, who I'm not good enough to be, or what I'm not good enough to do. Because you can do it when you put it in your mind. Okay? It's not going to always be an easy road to travel. You're going to have some bumps in the road. But I tell you what, if you believe in yourself, you can get past all those bumps in the road. Just believe in yourself and you can do whatever you want to do in life. This is what I did because I believed in myself. No matter how many people tried to deter me or tell me I wasn't good enough to do something, I didn't let that stop because I believed in myself. And you believe in yourself, you can do it and you can get it done. Thank you.
I think that's a great way to wrap it up. We're going to wrap up this last installment of our Heart of a Hall of Famer series featuring the one and only class of 1993 inductee, Mr. Larry Little. Mr. Little, I want to thank you from not only myself and our Youth and Education Department here at the Hall of Fame, but all the way up to Joe Horrigan and David Baker, our president. Thank you for being a part of this program today and passing that wisdom on, things you learned from the game of football onto that next generation. So I want to thank you for all that you've done for the game of football. I like to say our Hall of Famers wouldn't be what it is today, or the game of football wouldn't be like it is today without your influence. So I want to thank you for all that you've done for the game of football, as well as all of you done for us here in Canton at the Hall of Fame. So everyone, let's give Mr. Little one last big round of applause. All right, thanks everybody, and hopefully one day we'll see you here in Canton, Ohio. Mr. Little, we look forward to seeing you back here at your second home in Canton as well.
Yeah, giving out more scholarships this year.
All right, that sounds good. All right, we'll see everybody. Thank you for being part of the program today.
Foundation, and I make sure you get an adequate amount over at Booker T. Washington, because this is my alma mater, and this is the school that I love.
All right, thank you, Mr. Little.